And recording. So it's been about a month or so since I posted my last video. Mm. Obviously, the world has been falling apart. Not just me. um, yeah, I haven't really felt like putting anything up. Just with everything that's been happening overseas. Um, because I said the last one of the last videos is like things spread so quickly, so you want to be on top of things, and yeah, just keep informed. Then that turns into like a neurosis, where you just get like glued to your phone. Found out a lot about um, some artists, actors, and stuff that I always kind of suspected. But now it's nice to have that out in the open. I mentioned in another video about media literacy, about pretty much anything you see um, as an image from famous people, political people, and anybody that's on TV. You're seeing not their real like mind, face, attitude, any of that stuff. You're seeing a persona. You're seeing a facade. So a lot of that is fake. So it's nice to know where certain people stand on what's happening. um, I quit my job, separate, not to do with that goings on. But about a week ago, I went ahead and quit my job. There was varying circumstances that led to that, but my main component of it was I was taking on additional responsibility with no talk of getting any upgrade in my pay. I went from working 5 days a week to, because of the new responsibilities, 6 days a week. And instead of the 40 hours I was doing initially, somehow those shifts got cut to be a total of about 36 or 37 hours, like all together. So, for the same amount of pay, I was working an extra day and less hours and coming in at like 4:30 in the morning. So, I had this nagging pain in my back. I think I strained. I think the rhomboid muscle, rhombus, something, between the shoulder blade and the spine, like on the left hand side there. I think I strained something about a month ago, just lifting something off a pallet, and it's been nagging, numbing, searing kind of pain that just like hurts randomly. And wouldn't you know it, within a few days of quitting, giving my body some rest, it's almost completely gone away. Something that I've been dealing with for almost a month went away as soon as I had time to stop and relax. And wouldn't you know, all that irritability I was feeling, the just anger and like the mental health struggles that I was having, getting up at like 3:30 in the morning on like 2 3 hours of sleep. Wouldn't you know it? A couple of nights sleep, good night's sleep in a row, almost completely solved that. So, for the benefit of my sanity and like the well-being of my body, I felt I had to get out of that situation, and it's been very fruitful. Like I've almost immediately recovered, and then in addition to that, I hadn't been able to work on music in quite some time. Almost immediately, I got into the head space where I was just like, you know what? I have time. I'm gonna work on it, and knocked out the first round of mastering for over a dozen tracks. Right now, I'm halfway through the second round. Essentially, what that means is the first round I put a certain gloss on everything. They all get the same treatment. The glue compressor, the EQ8, saturation. Then I put 2 rounds of limiters on them, and there's dials. Certain dials are set exactly the same, so that there's a cohesive sound. But the wet versus dry changes and varies depending on each one. The threshold bumper changes on each one depending on how hard I want the drums to hit, etc. Uh, that's that's details, which is actually what the second and third round of mastering is me just listening to the songs over and over and saying, "Hey, this this section needs an extra kick drum right there," or saying, "Hey, this hi hat, I like the way it sounds. I'm gonna keep it the way it is, but maybe instead of it being like boom, 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 it's boom, boom, boom." Detailing, minutia. Uh, so anyway, that's what I've been up to lately. Is I'm working very hard right now that I have this free time suddenly to sort of put finishing touches on the music that I was working on. I sent off an image to the guy that's done my cover art for my last 2 albums. So I'm kind of just waiting to see how quickly he works on that. That motivates me. It's like if the quicker he works on it, the quicker I want to finish the tracks. The longer he takes to get back to me, the more I'm like, well, I can't release this until I get the image, so there's no rush, and that slows down the process. And you just slow down on everything. But yeah, like I'm in a place right now where since I quit, I'm giving myself this week to be very, very productive. Then I'm gonna go and like look for something else. It's the holidays. It shouldn't be too hard to find some like part-time gig at the very least. Um, yeah, but that's what's been going on with me. Additionally, I also wanted to just have a talk about music. This being a music channel and all. Uh, I don't know how much time I want to devote to this because I think one of the last videos I did where I just went off on a tangent, I went and like talked for like 30 minutes. Mm. I had I think it was just over a month ago, a buddy of mine whose daughter I taught how to play guitar. Um, he sent me like a random message telling me, "Hey, she joined band at school, and they're going to be playing. At this point, they already did. Um, at the Coliseum for the halftime show of her. I think she goes to Dorsey, so I think it was Dorsey versus I forget who the other school is, but the halftime show was going to be Warren G and Exhibit, and they were going to have the school band backing them. So my protege, I gave her a couple of lessons. Um, she got to play at the Coliseum with Warren G and Exhibit. So that kind of brightened my day just because like I'm not taking credit for it. If I taught her, I gave her a few lessons at the beginning because she wanted to learn. So she was already on that path to begin with. But uh, what? There it is. My emotions disturbed the frequencies there of the microphone. It looks like. Uh, yeah. So I'm not taking credit in any way, but it's nice to know that I was a part of that process that got her to play at the Coliseum here in Los Angeles. So like, had a little proud, not father moment, dad moment, a teacher moment, I guess. So that was nice. Made me feel good because this last month of October, not a good month for me. So getting that kind of news, it did kind of like brighten my spirits a little bit. And I've been watching a couple of YouTube videos recently just about music. There's a channel I follow, two channels, Rob Scallon and Andrew Huang. They're pretty popular YouTube musicians. They get together every 1st of October, and like they have a project. Excuse me. So they'll give themselves like 12 hours in a studio uh, and write a 10-track album with no prep, just whatever comes off the top of their heads. A lot of it's first like instinct, kind of like, oh, okay, let's go, 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 first draft, go. And it's really fun watching it as a process of just seeing how someone creates. Because if you spend like hours and hours agonizing over something like this should have this sound, oh, I don't like this snare, let me use this snare, let me change the dials on the distortion here. No, it's like, here it is, gotta move on. So that creation out of like thin air, and it just sort of the fun in just creating and just sort of making music. It's interesting, and it makes me. It reminds me of like band practices I had, where half the fun was in just fucking around, and not even necessarily having like a finished project or a product. It's more just like I'm vibing with these people, and it's just so much fun. So I've been watching that video like on repeat a lot. Of this is their most recent one. They went to England. They went to Abbey Road to do this project this time. Came out really chill sounding, huh? But yeah, I like videos like that where it's not necessarily, all right, so we're going to deconstruct this overture of Mozart, and in this section you can tell in the liner notes that the speed that he wanted it that don't that's not necessarily the best as far as like getting me interested in music. What I generally lean into is more just people talking about music and just being like, yeah, this makes me feel a certain way, or yeah, I'm gonna talk about some chords, but it's just more like, oh, this one's so beautiful, it makes me feel this, and then this one here, this chord, I'm gonna change one note, and suddenly there's this dissonance in it, and it changes the feel and the movement, and I like more when people talk about what the music means and what it is versus just saying like, this is how it was constructed and this is how you too can copy it for a nominal fee. I forgot what channel I was watching. Well, it wasn't even that I was watching the channel. I just came across a video of a guy, I think it was a jazz guy. He was playing, what's that Willy Wonka song? Pure Imagination. And as he was playing it, it made me think of like Charlie Brown Christmas music, because it's all on piano, and yeah, it's beautiful. It's really like delicate sounding. I don't listen to enough like just piano stuff. Huh. But yeah, like I was watching that video. I've been watching a couple videos on the Drumeo account, YouTube page, where people well, drummers, because it's Drumeo, um, how they get tracks without the drums to listen to, and then and this is only part of the content, but there's a handful of drummers who will get drumless tracks to listen to, and they have free reign to sort of put in their own version of what they think the drums would be, and that's actually pretty interesting to listen to, because you can compare the style that they're playing with what the style of the actual drums on the track are, and then you can see how different people interpret songs in different ways, the different swings they put into their playing, that kind of thing. And it's also cool, like listening to them, where they're like, a couple of them will be like, "Oh, this sounds so complicated. I don't know how I can put drums to this," and other people just being like really snobbish and just being like, "Oh yeah, it seems really basic. So it's probably just on the one and the three and dun 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 dun. I guess I can put in some like Tom stuff where they're really like condescending about it, like, oh, this is so beneath me. I'm a master," versus someone who's just like, um, "Yeah, this isn't my style, so I'm nervous to play it, but I'll try my best." And it's funny. It's funny, but I enjoy that kind of music um, type of video more than the deconstruction ones, with just people loving to play or loving to listen. So that's kind of the kick I've been on recently. And I kind of, to get my mind off of things in the world, I kind of want to go back to that kind of aspect as far as my reactions. So just wanted to get a few things off my chest, say a few things. Um, Also, I'm pretty dehydrated because I was cleaning some stuff earlier. I went and took a nice long hot bath. So I got out and I thought, well, if I'm real dehydrated, what better time than now to drink? Which is another thing, by the way. I've noticed when I am pretty dehydrated, either after a long time at the gym or coming out of a bath or a shower or something, uh, what does that Einstein say? Time is relative. And I guess it's part of that flight or fight response. But the more dehydrated you are, or the more dehydrated I am, the more my like inner monologue is sort of speeds up. The more I interpret things in a different way. So whereas, for example, let's say a song is in 60 BPMs, for whatever reason, when I'm listening to it, it sounds sped up. Like it might be at 65 BPMs, maybe it's at 70 BPMs, depending on how much water's in my system. Or, and that's probably one of the reasons why you hear about so many like musicians who get high or they drink a lot. You put in substances to sort of alter your perception of how you can hear and see the music. So that's always something interesting to me. Just thought I'd mention that.